Hey guys, this is Oricon and this is my review of Fate Extra for the PSP. First of all, given that this is a Type Moon game, it's unsurprising that this game is very heavy on the visual novel aspect. So if you don't like to do a lot of reading, then this game is not for you. In fact, I'm actually pretty surprised they even localized this game to begin with, and not so surprised that it probably didn't sell well and they didn't localize the sequel. If you're not aware of the Fate Stay Night franchise, it first started out as an 18+ visual novel for the PC. In Japan, the PC visual novel is kind of like a testbed for popular stories before they're censored, if they're 18+, and ported over to various consoles and handhelds, and sometimes even adapted into anime, Clannad being another example. As for Fate Extra, as suggested by the name, it is a spin-off from the main series and has absolutely no relation with the Fate Stay Night story, so you don't need to know anything about it to play this game. However, if you're familiar with Fate Stay Night, it is interesting to see the very different roles the characters from the main series play in this game. This is a pretty fun game that I would recommend if you're into visual novels and RPGs. The story premise is pretty interesting and keeps you interested enough to want to know more about your character and your hero. I actually didn't like the anime for Fate Stay Night that much, mostly because I didn't like the main character in Saber. However, Saber in this game in my opinion is much more interesting and likable. There's also quite a bit of replayability because you can choose from 3 characters and you get to keep your money and equipment on subsequent plays. This is currently my second playthrough with Caster. As for the battle system, it is deceptively simple but also challenging. It's a simple rock paper scissors system where you have to try to guess and memorize patterns, but there's also skills that you and your partner can do. I found that the bass battles are pretty challenging because grinding is kind of out of the question. Once you learn an enemy's pattern, the amount of experience you get goes way down. Overall, I really enjoyed the battle system, though there is a bit of frustration sometimes because of the element of luck. One downside is that though there is a large amount of dialogue, a very small amount of it is actually voiced. Also, besides the dungeons, the number of environments are extremely small. Don't expect the game to open up sometime later, as you're pretty much stuck in the same locations for the entirety of the game. Overall, I would say Fate Extra is a simpler and more lightweight game that's enjoyable for the story, characters, and boss battles. It took me about 38 hours to beat and would probably go for a lot longer if you replay it 3 times with all the characters.